July 2013, my wife and I moved from New York State to Texas. Atlas Van Lines were contracted to move and store our possessions until we found a house. The following film documents the damages that our property sustained through what we suspect to be negligence and disrespect by Atlas Van Lines subcontractors Collins Brothers New York and Imlach and Collins Dallas. The following pictures show how battered and crushed many of the boxes were when they arrived at our house. Note that this is a wardrobe box, which by definition is full of clothes hanging from a metal rail at the top of the box. The only way this crushing could happen is by a heavier box being stacked on top of the box, which is labelled fragile. This box is clearly marked electronic material and office PC and has a large puncture hole in it.
So as you can see, this box is labelled DVD and cover. It's box 313. Inside there's a bag, there's a rather heavy bag of sheet music and then a lot of electrical supplies. Now this box is so heavy that I'm having difficulty actually moving this. I can't lift this, and yet underneath is a box labelled Glassware 262.
When our boxes were delivered by Imlach and Collins from Dallas, Texas, they showed no respect, stacking heavy boxes on already crushed boxes. The delivery agents made no attempt to even pretend that they cared about our property. The unusual repeated pattern of stains on the inside and outside of this mattress box suggests that something with an oily wheel was run over the top. The oil seeped into the inside of the box and onto the mattress itself. This box of linens is so crushed that the tape has become separated from the box and is left gaping, allowing dust and dirt to coat the linens. Upon arrival, all of our soft goods, including our sofa and our clothes, smelled as if they had been stored in a cow barn for the last 6 weeks. Every single item had to be washed before use.
This monitor came out of this box, packed quite far down, when this box for the monitor with the packaging material was left on the desk next to the monitor before we moved, for the packers to use this box for this monitor, not to wrap it up in paper and stick it deep in there.
This printed project management chart was moved from the office and thrown into a box, and crushed badly. This green box contained a silver ornament from Scotland. Luckily, the ornament did not suffer damage, but due to the poor packaging and storage, the box was crushed and the card explaining the history of the object was bent. Even though this box is labelled fragile, an expensive sheet of picture matting was actually folded to get it into the box. Why the packer thought that this was acceptable is beyond me. This sheet of glass from a picture frame was laid flat at the bottom of the box of artwork, paperwork and framed art on top of it. How it survived without shattering in the box is a mystery. This multi-picture frame containing images of our daughter and grandchildren was put on top of a box of soft goods and covered with 2 soft blankets. The box was stacked with heavier boxes on top and the frame was bent. The only possible explanation for these badly packed boxes is laziness or incompetence. Either way, it demonstrates a lack of respect.
Give you another example of how disrespectful Imlach and Collins have been to our property. This is a particularly disgusting one in my opinion, as a lover of books. So this box here is labelled dining room books, and there were some children's colouring pads on top of it, which I've just taken out, to discover that the books are in with a number of crayons and pens. The considerably worrying thing about this is that the first book on top here is a 1916 copy of Silas Mariner. There are multiple vintage copies of the O. Henry series here, all from the 1920s. This one is 1929, and all of these books have been put in here, and then all of these loose crayons and markers have been thrown in on top of it. It's disrespectful, and it's just wrong.
created this comic book montage on top of my grandson's dresser. The dresser travelled wrapped in a moving blanket. Due to the humidity in the storage area, the varnish melted and the comic book pages adhered to the blanket. The collage is destroyed. Irreparable damage like this to an object with sentimental value feels like a violation. Although undamaged, this wooden desk shelf travelled unwrapped, unprotected. The sliding doors were left loose inside it. Even though this antique step-back dresser travelled in a moving blanket, this thick covering of dust accumulated while the dresser was in storage. Here, an ID sticker stuck onto the antique rocking chair has pulled off the varnish.
This is a new low. There's a box in here labelled Fragile Wood Sculptures, and that was underneath the bench grinder, the circular saw, and a jump starter. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
This mirror was left packed inside a wooden crate. We did request that the bed in the guest room be set up. It wasn't. The box springs were not even unwrapped. We sustained damage to the front door of the apartment. The red spots on this carpet were caused by one delivery agent dropping pieces of a red ice pop. They did not inform us of the stains. Even after shampooing the carpet, the red dye will not come out. The end of this curtain rod is not even ours. Clearly, we are not an isolated incident. As you can imagine, we are very unhappy with the level of service we received from Atlas Van Line subcontractors and would not recommend them to anyone.